everyone, welcome to another Top 10. This evening I'm giving you my top 10 worst movies that have a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, there are several movies that have a goose egg on Rotten Tomatoes. The last time I checked, there were at least 50 movies that had a 0% ranking on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, these are my top 10 worst of those movies. Um, like I said, there are a lot that are really bad. Usually, we generally get one a year, if not one every 2 years. It just all depends. But here lately, we've gotten at least one a year. I think, with the exception of last year. But I know in 2015, 16, and even this year, with Gotti, we got a movie with a 0% rating. But without further ado, here is my list of the 10 worst movies with a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Coming in number 10 is 1994's A Low Down Dirty Shame. That's a Wayans Brothers movie. It was a bad movie. I remember watching it one time, and it was brutal. I really couldn't get through it. But I think I even found myself falling asleep. But ultimately, I did watch the movie, and it was just a bad movie. So yeah, number 10. Number 9, unfortunately, 1994's Wagons East. This was John Candy's last movie. He died during the making of it of a heart attack. It was unfortunate because John Candy is a great actor. He had a great run in the 80s and early 90s, but with his smoking and drinking and overeating caught up with him, and eventually we lost a great actor. And unfortunately, it happens quite frequently too. And it's not always just about weight, but it's other things. But we're always losing these great actors and actresses, and it's really sad. But John, rest in peace. He was a great actor, but it just wasn't a good movie. And they ended up finishing the movie with his stunt double. And they should have just scrapped the movie and just put it on the shelf. But yeah, number 9 is Wagons East. Number 8 is Staying Alive, 1983. There was no need to make a sequel to Saturday Night Fever. It was a great movie. It should have been left alone. Unfortunately, Sylvester Stallone directed this movie. John Travolta decided to do this movie, and it was a real shit fest. So, just a terrible movie. Coming number 7 is 1993's Look Who's Talking Now. This is the third movie in the Look Who's Talking franchise, which, again, didn't need sequels. The first movie was phenomenal, funny, just a great movie. Kirstie Alley, John Travolta, Bruce Willis voicing Mikey. It was a great movie. And then they ruined it with 2 shitty sequels. They should have just left it alone. Had they done that, it's a perfect movie on its own. It's still a perfect movie on its own. I've seen the sequels one time, and that's one time too many. So yeah, Look Who's Talking Now. Shitty. Coming number 6 is 1987's Jaws Revenge. This is the 4th movie of the franchise, which didn't need sequels. The first movie was great. We didn't need to see any other sequels, but unfortunately, they saw dollar signs and they wanted to make more movies, and of course, make some money. Now, I will admit, the second movie was okay. The third movie is a guilty pleasure. It's in 3D, but I love the actors and actresses in it. Dennis Quaid, Louis Gossett Jr. It's a guilty pleasure. Let's just put it that way. But it is a bad movie. But it doesn't have a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes like Jaws Revenge. Jaws Revenge is freaking just stupid. And the way that the shark is killed by a boat just running into it was just laughable and just really crappy. They should have just left it alone with the great movie. Coming in number 5 is 1991's Return to the Blue Lagoon. Again, another sequel that was not needed to a decent movie. Uh, Again, they see dollar signs. They wanted to make a sequel. Uh, it, it was god awful. I could barely get through that movie. And like I said, I'm a big movie buff, but there are just some movies that you just cannot tolerate. And yeah, this was this is really bad. Coming number 4 is 1988's Mac and Me. Uh, what can I say about this movie? That uh, it's just a knockoff of a classic movie. Uh, if you don't know what that classic movie is, then you won't get this. But you know, again, Hollywood trying to make uh, money off success of other movies, and it's just really sad. But this is a god awful movie. Do not watch this movie. Don't watch any of these movies on this list. It's just terrible. Coming to number 3 is 2008's One Missed Call. Uh, this movie is just stupid. Uh, Again, I'm a big horror movie fan, but this was just ridiculous. The story, the characters, just everything about this movie is god awful, and something that I really wish I could unsee. But unfortunately, I did see it because as a horror fan, I'm really open minded about horror movies, especially. But man, this was a stinker from the start, and it didn't get better. There was no part of this movie that could save it, and don't waste your time with that movie. Coming to number 2, um, what did I have? 1,000 Words. Now, this is from 2012. Again, I could barely remember anything about this movie. It was forgettable. Uh, the characters, everything about this movie across the board is stupid. This is a movie that should have been put on a shelf and just let it collect dust until the dust just ate it away. Uh, don't think about watching it. Don't. Uh, if you don't want if you don't want to sit through misery, then don't watch this movie. And my number 1 worst movie with a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes is a freaking movie that I have talked about before. This is a remake of Eli Roth's 2002 movie, which is a great movie, by the way, the 2002 movie, Cabin Fever. Now, for some reason, he decided to attach himself to this remake. I don't know why, but it was freaking awful. It was the same exact movie from 2002, but with different actors. I was so pissed that I spent $6 to watch this movie. And yeah, I didn't watch it in theaters, but I watched it at home. I rented it, and I'm like, all right, let's see what they do with this. The worst mistake I ever made in my life. I would rather gouge my eyes out than watch that movie again. There was nothing wrong with the 2002 movie. It wasn't that old to where it needed a remake. It just didn't make no sense. If you wanted to make yet another sequel or something, by all means, but it was just ridiculous. In my opinion, you shouldn't be allowed to remake a movie unless it's at least 30 years old or older, maybe 40. You know, This was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot. And not only these 10 movies, but like Halloween 3, Grease 2, Bloody Murder. I've seen some really bad movies, and this is no exception. Don't waste your money on this new Cabin Fever remake. Oh, it didn't even make $1 million at the box office. That's how bad it was. But there you have it. That is my top 10 worst movies with a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So in the comment section below, give me your top 10 movies with a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. There are some other ones out there that I do want to see. One being The Ridiculous Six. That's an Adam Sandler's movie. After watching the trailer for it, it actually looks pretty funny. And I know it has a 0% rating, but I hopefully will be able to have a chance to watch that movie. But like for example, Jack and Jill doesn't have 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and that was a real shit fest. But yeah, that is my top 10. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and be sure to share these videos with all your friends and family. And if you like this top 10, hit the like button, and let's talk about movies, TV shows. Let's just have fun. Other than that, I thank you guys for watching. I am Timmy Treacle, and I'll see you guys next time. Check you later.